All right, Shawn. Gotta ask you, man. Just I know you were asked before. Just Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
What's your reaction?
Listen, man, at the end of the day, this is the topic of discussion. This is what's going on in the boxing world right now. And so, when you are who I am, who a lot of the people are, who speak for boxing for the sake of words, you got to expect these kind of questions, and I'll just hit the nail on the head. It didn't offend me. It made me feel very sad for him to hear him speaking the way that he was speaking, and even hear him saying he wasn't gonna regret it, and then again to see him soliciting an apology. The apology was real. Him saying that he wasn't going to regret it was just him pushing on where he was already at. That's one thing I've learned about Ryan. You give him he's literal. You give him a foot, he's literally gonna take a mile. Anything that he commits to, he doesn't know how to uncommit to it. He doesn't know how to retract it. He doesn't know how to just stop it. You know what I mean? So I personally feel like I've seen that in everything that he's done. I'll even say this, anybody can look at me like a hater or whatever. Him being overweight for the Devin Haney fight was not planned. That was just, he didn't get the weight off. And instead of saying, hey, I didn't get the weight off, that's the responsible thing. He didn't do the responsible thing. He took it and he ran with it. Yeah, we planned it and this and so on and so forth. It wasn't planned, but that's a part of his nature. He doesn't know how to pull back. He doesn't know how to stop. He doesn't know how to slow down. And we can see where that's got him to this point. So for anyone who may listen to that statement and say, no, you just this, you just that, look at everything. Everything has gone from a foot to a mile. That's just his personality. It's who he is. It's how he's built. And, Paulie said it today on Pro Box TV. He said, he just needs to learn how to have that filter. He needs to learn how to start slowing down and stopping before it gets too far. And, he's created this big hole himself, and, he's continuing to dig, unfortunately.
You said you weren't offended. Why? Because a lot of people are offended.
I know a lot of people are offended because...
A lot of people don't even, he's canceled. He's done, that's Ryan Garcia.
I was going on the Pro Box, and when I found out that we were going to talk about that, I was like, all right, well, what was said? I saw the post yesterday, but I don't look at social media. So, as we're lining up to start the show, the music might not have been playing yet, but and we were already on it, and I was listening to what he was saying while we were already on it. So, I have a half of an ear listening to it, but my heart wasn't committed to what's going on. My mind was committed to how do I respond to this on the show. You know what I mean? I think everybody else, you listen to it, you're full attention to it, and it's, after you've already heard what's been said, you go into it with this mindset of, oh, I can't believe, you know what I mean? I didn't go into listening to it that way. I just went into it as research. What he say and how do I respond to it, It was much, I would say, honestly, it was 100 times worse than I thought it was going to be. Yeah.
Yeah, he issued an apology. You think anything he does, people can forgive him.
But listen, because now... what I said, now it's going to make sense. He solicited an apology. The apology was just as real as whatever he was doing or saying was before. What he was doing and saying before, he went too far. You know what I mean? Now the apology, he has to do that. You know what I mean? And he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad kid. He's just made some bad mistakes, some immature decisions, and, he's just not reaping. Well, he's, unfortunately reaping, the results of, where they're at.
I've heard a lot of this over the years is like a mental illness, an excuse for, something like that to come out, or when someone's inebriated. Not sure, we don't know if he was inebriated or not. We can make an assumption.
Yeah. I remember seeing kids in high school. I went to all predominantly white high schools, and I remember seeing kids that were drunk, and they would say things, and it was like, whoa, slow down, mate. What are you doing? And it's like they're drinking, they just don't give a damn. They're drinking, they don't even know. So we do know to an extent you could be that way, but from where I'm sitting and looking at this, I think I think he took some shots that he didn't need to take. But I think it all revolves around the social media presence that he has, and I think that he's just trying to keep up, and it ain't time to keep up right now.
You're very empathetic to him.
Absolutely.
Why?
Because this is who I am as a human being.
Yeah.
I understand that we're all human. I understand what other people don't understand about fighters. We're more human than a lot of people know us to be because they see the superheroes in the ring on fight night. Look at social media and watch boxers on social media. We're probably some of the most emotional athletes, professional athletes in the world. I would say it goes maybe NBA players, then boxing, maybe boxing, then NBA play. Like, most of them are very emotional. Most boxers are immature because of most of us turn pro at 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. You're just not at your maturity level. And a lot of us don't even realize it, but our growth is being stunted at such a young age because we're that expectation and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So, it's this whole big psychological thing that I could really go into, but that's why I'm empathetic. I'm empathetic because I realize that it's much more than just him wanting to get on social media and say these things. Whether or not we can say that's mental health, he's got to get help. I think that there are some mental health issues going on there, but I'll also say this: mental health is something that just a decade ago it just wasn't looked at. We still were in that macho man lifestyle, everyone, where we couldn't talk about things, we couldn't say things. And, I think the world is starting to become a little more vulnerable than it has been in the past. And, I would say that I feel like there's some mental health issues going on there. Nothing that can't be fixed. But I think the first thing that has to happen is you have to go for the help.
Yeah, because I asked that because a lot of people aren't being, a lot of people are like, no, he crossed the line. Like, that's it, he's done. Like, I don't care what he's going through. Like, once he says that, like, no more.
He said some stuff about Muslims. I heard it. It was hard stuff that he said. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think people may even hate me for being empathetic. I don't know, but I think, again, at the end of the day, the thing we have to just understand and realize is that we're all human, and we all make mistakes. I don't have a drug addiction. I don't have an alcohol addiction. I don't have problems and with social problems, being around a lot of people and things like that. I don't have anxiety attacks or anything like that. But I have my issues that I have to deal with. You know what I mean? My family knows about my issues and we deal with them. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing too serious for me not to be able to get on TV and things like that. But at the end of the day, we all have issues. Just because your issue ain't speaking the way that he was speaking, just because your issue ain't taking PEDs, just because your issue ain't, you know what I mean, showing up for a boxing match overweight, and some of these other things. You got some issues as well, and I'm a Christian. No sin is bigger than any other sin. It's a part of the process. And shout out to my man Malcolm Gandhi, a saying that he has that I hold true to my heart. Favor ain't fair. You know what I mean? And you guys, maybe I'll speak on that on my podcast this weekend. But favor ain't fair. And why I'm saying that is because some of the things that he's received in the boxing world, a lot of other fighters that are better than him have not received these things. A lot of other fighters that might be able to beat him, they now don't have an opportunity to get in the ring with him. You know what I mean? The business has played a role and so on and so forth. Just because you have what you have and you're ready for some of the things that he may not have been ready for, you may look at it as it's not fair right now, but this is just a journey that God has him on. He may have gotten off of the course. I think he'll get back on it, And for anybody who doesn't understand favor ain't fair, stay in your lane, play your role, and find your favor, and you'll find your fairness.
Shawn, thank you.